Alzheimer's Recovery Diary, Martin Morris. Welcome back. And I'm going to pick up on the story that I was sharing in the last episode about just how my mum was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and how we first began to notice there was something going on. And I want to pick up on the element of just how you would get diagnosed with Alzheimer's. It's not just an issue of, okay, you go to a doctor and the doctor says you have Alzheimer's. There are actually certain tests that need to be done to confirm that you actually have Alzheimer's and not some other type of dementia. So dementia is just a general umbrella term for some cognitive decline that normally happens later in life. And Alzheimer's is a very specific type of dementia. And I'm not a medical doctor focused on this, but I'll give you a general definition, which I think will be useful. So for a dementia, a cognitive decline to be considered Alzheimer's, there has to be some brain imaging which shows these plaque or these white bits that appear on brain imaging, indicating a buildup of material in the brain, which they call amyloid beta plaque or amyloids, or there's different ways to reference it, but it's a substance that starts to build up in the brain that this Dr. Alzheimer, I think in Germany or Austria, first described about almost 100 years ago when he dissected patients after they had died. So that is the way that Alzheimer's is formally diagnosed, as well as cognitive tests showing that there is a deterioration of cognition. Because it's interesting, people can have actually these plaques in their brain and be cognitively perfect. And then some people can have a cognitive decline and there's virtually no plaques. So it's interesting. But once again, for Alzheimer's, there has to be both. And then also something that may confirm the diagnosis is an MRI, which is a magnetic imaging something like that. Magnetic resonance imaging. That's right. Which is a special scan of the body that you can do in different parts. And it can show a very detailed picture of the brain. And if there is a reduction in certain parts of the brain, then that confirms kind of what type of Alzheimer's it is. In the case of my mother, she had a reduction in the hippocampus, which is very, very common. And the hippocampus is this little area of the brain kind of right in the middle that is involved in short-term memory, specifically. So when you see a reduction in the volume of that, you can also indicate that part of the brain has been affected by the dementia or Alzheimer's. And there was also some other reductions in some lateral parts of the brain, which I am going to just take a stab in the dark, noticing from my mum's symptoms that have to do also with some cognitive ability. Because basically, my mum has lost the ability to, or has a reduced ability rather, to remember short-term things, so short-term instructions. That's the first thing. The second thing is carry out even moderately complex tasks. So what's a moderately complex task? Getting yourself breakfast in the morning is a moderately complex task. So you have to go out and open the fridge, get the ingredients out, get the chopping board out. You have to do some things before the other things. So you have to chop before you turn the frying pan on. Otherwise you might burn the house down. You have to put certain ingredients in. That's a moderately complex task. So my mother, just really struggles with those sorts of tasks. And also time awareness. So it's very challenging for her to know which year it is or what day it is. Really struggles, fights with her diary like, it feels like a Sunday. It must be a Sunday. No, Mom, it's a Thursday. But how did it get to be Thursday? So they're the challenges that my mum has. But on other aspects, such as her ability to remember things long term, or ride a bike, or carry out an interesting conversation, she's fine. That being said, another thing that is very aware for her is her own cognitive decline. So that has made her much more self-conscious. Like, I know that I'm not getting things. So that's caused her to kind of self-isolate, where she doesn't feel so comfortable in social situations like she would have been previously, because she's like, well, what, I'm probably not understanding. They're probably thinking I'm an idiot, and they're kind of laughing at me or whatever. And so that makes her feel awkward. So that's a little bit about the diagnosis of Alzheimer's. So that was in about June of 2025. And so after that, I decided I wanted to visit my mom and see if I could help her. So I started planning a trip, because what I noticed was that my sisters, bless their souls, they're amazing people, but their general opinion, at least at that point, was like, there's nothing much we can do. We've just got to look for a nursing home for our mom. And it was a real struggle, at least for my sister, to kind of look after her. And I'm talking about reversing Alzheimer's and all these things we can do. And my sisters are like, you're not on the ground. You don't know what it's like here. And I don't even believe that that's possible. So I knew that if I was going to be able to have an impact, it would have to be like directly with my mom. So that's why I decided that I needed to go and visit her and see what I could do. So I'm going to share that with you in the next little episode, which you can just keep watching if you're kind of watching this, or I'll see you soon.